I'll never sell anything less than 1 million naira. That's the word of a 9 to 12-year-old boy, if I'm not mistaken. It happened that yesterday I was helping a year 9 student work on his homework. So the teacher had asked him to create an invoice for his imaginary business. So we went down to creating the invoice. The young man's business, imaginary business, is a computer store where gadgets are sold. And while creating the invoice, where we got to the place where we had to lodge in the things that were bought, I had said to him, now imagine if you sold a computer for 100,000 naira. And instantly he said to me, I will never sell anything less than 1 million naira. I cannot sell a computer for 100,000 naira. I was like, yeah, obviously you wouldn't sell a computer for 100,000 naira, but this is an example. And he said, even if it's an example, even if it's a play, even if it is anything else, I will not sell it for less than 1 million naira. Now I smiled and I was like, okay. So we continued with the invoice. The first invoice we created. Our sum total was around 6.4 thereabouts. And I had said, okay, you know what? Do yours. I've taught you what to do. I've showed you what to do. We've done it together. Now do yours by yourself. Let me go get a cup of water to drink or something. So I stepped out. By the time I came in, the young man's invoice was ready because he was using the template I had created for him. So his invoice was ready. And guess what? His sum total was around 38 million naira plus. And when I looked at it, I didn't say anything. I didn't object to it or anything. I just allowed him. In that moment, it dawned on me his mindset. His mindset. His mindset had been so programmed to the point where he now understands that the kind of person I am, I can't sell anything less than 1 million naira. His mindset has been so wired that even if it's in an example, even if it's not reality, even if it is not serious, I cannot do that. I can't come down to this level. I can't go below this level. You can't find me there. Where they sell things less than 1 million naira, you won't find me there. He has so programmed, or he has been so programmed, his mind has been so wired, he has come to live and learn in the environment where he now understands that this is not me, this is not my level, I am bigger than this. Because from his background, he's not from a small background, yeah. So I understand. At the moment, instantly, I understood that this is not pride. People will say this is pride. This is not pride. This is a function of his mindset. This is a function of his environment. This is a function of the place where he grew, the parents he has, the family he has, every other thing that comes together to form the mindset. Yeah, he's in year 9. He's a year 9 student. But his mind has been wired that I myself, though with my first degree, pursuing another first degree. In an example, I will give examples of 100 naira, 10 naira, 1,000 naira, 100,000. Because I don't see it as anything, yeah. Maybe because of my mind. Yeah, maybe because of the way I think. In as much as I do not have a limited mindset, people that know me will say that, know that. Like, I believe that if you can dream it, God will definitely fund it, yeah. Well, I didn't see to the point where even in examples, you leave it in examples. I didn't see it even in a point where you bring it out even in examples. It's just like a child telling you, I won't play in sand. You be like, this child is proud. No, this child has been trained from home. The mindset of this child has been wired from where he or she is coming from not to do this. Now, it is very okay that some of us came from where we came from. God be praised. We're all proud of where we came from. Nobody is being shamed for where they're coming from. I did not come from a place where I can confidently say at that age that I can't sell something less than a million naira. Now, imagine if this child sits in the midst of, let me use the word, mediocre people. Imagine if this child sits in the midst of people whose mindset can only see below, people whose mindset is so shallow, people whose mindset is that of the minority, people whose mindset is that of the anywhere belefis, people whose mindset is like that of the we'll just see food chop. Yeah. If that child sits amongst them and he says something like this, the next thing they'll be like, this child is proud. What does he mean he can't sell something less than a million naira? This child is proud. But this is not from the place of pride. This is coming from the place of mindset. When people say I cannot be poor, this is not because currently they are rich. It's not because currently they have the connections, but because they've been wired, they've come to the understanding, they've come to the light that I cannot be less than what I have been destined to be. And they are consciously putting in the work, not just being aware. So it is one thing to be aware. It is one thing for your mindset to be wired in a particular way. Now, it is another thing to consciously work towards aligning your reality with your mindset. It is one thing to have a mindset. It is one thing to live the mindset. It is another thing to consciously work towards aligning your mindset and your reality. So, like I was giving an example, imagine children playing and a boy comes and says, I cannot play with dust, I cannot play with sand, I cannot play under the rain. You will say this child is proud. No, this child has a mindset, this child has an upbringing, this child has a mentality that has either been formed for him or her, or he or she has formed for herself or himself. And the child has said, I cannot do this because this is not the path towards where I am going to. This is not the path towards where I am journeying to. So therefore, I cannot be with this. I cannot be like this. Now, people will fall off. People who don't understand the mindset. People who sees it as a threat. People who sees it as being proud. People who sees it as being prideful. People like this will fall off because, man, I can't deal with that. That boy is too proud. The only people who will stay are those that understand the mindset, those that understand what you're doing, those that understand where you're from and where you're going to. Those are the people who are most likely going to stay. What I'm here to say is that regardless of the voice that speaks, stay. As the one teaching him yesterday, he was supposed to, okay, let's do it for 100K. But he refused. He stood firm and he told me he will not, even if it's an example, even if it's a joke, he will not. For a year 9 student, I came back home amazed last night. Like I told everybody who cared to listen. I told my mom, I told my siblings, I told everybody last night. Because I was just so wowed. I was just so amazed. So the whole thing is stay. This is what I want. Focus. This is what I want. I don't care who is saying anything. I don't care who is speaking to me. I don't care what the naysayers are saying here. Whether they think I am prideful, whether they think I am proud, whether they think I feel too big. I really do not care. So this is that point where you stand firmly. This is that point where you sit. This is that point where you put your feet to the ground and you say, I cannot do less than this. I will not go less than this. I will not be found in places like this. I will not be found saying things like this. I will not be found in the category of people like this. Because I am not wired to be there. I am not meant to be there. Even in reality and in a joke. Be it in an example. Even if it's an example, my name should not be in the same sentence with some certain words. Even if it's a joke. So today, First Daughters, and every other person, the mindset, The power of the mind. The Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. Meaning transformation cannot come without our minds being renewed. There will be no transformation if our minds have not been renewed. How can you transform a village boy into an exposed boy? There's a process of transformation, and that person has to go through the process. So be you transformed by the renewal of your mind. This is that time where you sit with yourself and you say, this is what I want for myself. My mind, this is what we're working towards. And you go through the process of transformation. If it is to read books, journal, meet with people, go to seminars, network, etc. Go through the journey and the path towards transformation. So your mind is being renewed. So your mind is being transformed because your life is renewed, your heart is renewed, your understanding is renewed, your knowledge is renewed, your wisdom is renewed, your heart is transformed, your mindset is transformed, your life is transformed. So my dearest, take this as your sign to work towards the renewal of your mind so that your lives can be transformed. People will say nay, people will impose their mindset on you, but you know where you're going to. So you stick to it, regardless of who says whatever they say. You will stick to it and you will see it through to the end.